Welcome to the Butt Fixer Podcast, brought to you by Shane Gentry and John Van Olden. Sit back, listen up, and listen good. You're going to hear it all right because we've already done it all wrong. We're going to help you meet your goals and fix your butts. Welcome to the Butt Fixer Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, if you plan it, it sucks.
Yeah, for sure, right? Because nothing ever goes according to plan, man.
No, fuck plans.
Yeah. So, hey, okay, we're in. This is Vinnie Soma. He is a dog trainer and has Say It Once dog training in Pittsburgh.
That's a good name.
Yeah, Say It Once. When'd you start this thing, Vinnie?
2012.
2012. So I started 2010. I was just, I think, starting to pick things up and everything, and then I started seeing Vinny. Vinny was big on he did a lot of good social media and everything, and I hit my he hit my radar. I don't know, around 14, and right around 14, I was short a trainer in Pittsburgh and started sending him my overflow, and that's kind of how we got. That was kind of how we got acquainted, and I've been following him ever since, and dude's a hard worker, been building up his business. I know a little bit of his story, but Vinny, kind of the interesting thing. I don't know how many of these you listen to or how many dog trainers. I mean, we have dog trainers, we have musicians, and we have all kinds of crazy people. Did you hear the one, the woman that trained the groundhog for Groundhog Day? I don't know if you heard
that. That's impressive, dude. Jesus, give her an Oscar.
Yeah,
she's wild, man.
Yeah, she ended up on America's Got Talent as a comedian because in her 60s she developed some kind of like totally wholesome comedy routine and made it to America's Got Talent doing that.
It was wild.
Crazy life, man. So yeah, give us the rundown, man. How did you get into training dogs? What were you doing before, and how did you learn it? And
I'll give you the quick story here. So
doesn't have to be that quick. And when you share this, everybody's going to say, "Damn, Vinny, I knew some of your story, but I didn't know all that."
So I was 19, living in Chicago, playing hockey. My brother was really good at hockey. I was trying to follow his footsteps, so he played Ohio State and then went and played pro in Europe. And I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. I just want to play hockey, and that's it, right? I got hurt really bad a couple times in a couple weeks. I just got I got a concussion, and then I went back the next week like an idiot. Got hit again in the head, and I was like kind of screwed up for a year and a half, right? Like there was a period of time where I'm just like, I can't walk without, trying to stumble. I couldn't read off a computer screen.
Damn.
Yeah, it was weird. It kind of sucked, right? And anyways, I tried everything, dude. I tried everything to get better. Like I at one point had 24 different medications in my house. Right? Like I tried everything. Acupuncture, hyperbaric chambers, all this bullshit, right? And one day my mom and dad go, because I was just watching a lot of dog stuff.
Wait, real quick. What level, just the hockey thing? I got a very good friend. He's also on here. I forget what episode, but he played hockey his whole life. And then, his big problem is he just stopped growing, I mean, he plays highly competitive, roller hockey and everything now. And he's playing with, guys that played, Division I and everything, but for him, he quit growing, had to find something else to do,
Yeah, I played juniors, so I was playing juniors out in Chicago.
Okay.
And I mean, it's funny because I'm 5'7", 5'8", you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little bit harder when you're not 6 foot. Although nowadays there's a lot of smaller guys that are fast, but I mean, comparatively speaking, it's obviously harder when you're not tall. So you got to learn a second craft. I highly recommend everyone who's not going to be tall to learn another craft. Other than
he was left hanging for a few years. That's for sure, man.
Yeah. So, I was watching a lot of dog stuff, and I was like, you know what, Mom and Dad, I want another dog, and they push it off for a while, and I'm like, nah, I just want a dog, right? Like, I just need something with me. I want a dog. And they said, fine, if you want to get a dog, you have to go spend some time with your uncle who trained dogs. And I said, all right, that's fair. So I got an English Mastiff Trigger. He was my man. This actually is that dog back there. He was a great boy, and literally saved my life, dude. Wake up, take care of that dog, train that dog, walk that dog, get into a routine, have a purpose, start to change the way that I looked about life. Get up, have a purpose, train that dog, learn more about training. You know what I mean? And it's that cycle there. You're like, all right, yeah, I'm starting to get better because I'm doing things and I'm seeing progress. So I'm excited about it and I want to do it more. And I taught that dog everything, dude. Like, I taught that English Mastiff how to take my socks off and walk them into a laundry basket. Closing the door, you know what I mean? Grabbing beer. He was opening the car door, closing the car door. There was nothing I couldn't get that dog to do. And he was a big boy. So, I'm working with my uncle, and right around the time he's a year old, I'm like, dude, I love this. Like, I didn't realize how much this love was grown. And this is back in the time I cannot stand the Cesar Millan slander online. Like, he's one of the fucking reasons I'm a dog trainer, because I was watching his show and I'm like, you know what? I want to get a dog, right? Like, the guy's an OG. Whether you train like him or not doesn't really matter to me. He's the reason we get paid. He's the reason I have a house.
Yeah, that's true.
Dog training now it's a huge market, which for better or worse. But so that's how I got into it. And I was sitting there, I'm like he's a year old, so I'm got to be 20, maybe almost 21, and I'm like, I think I want to do this. So I got to start thinking about some dog training names before I bring it to my parents, right? Because remember, you got to go to college, you got to get a job, you got to do X, Y, Z, whatever it is that is the typical route in America. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at dog training companies. I see, he's probably going to end up seeing this, but I see Sit Means Sit. Yeah. Sit Means Sit. That's not a bad name. I don't know why I didn't just call it Say It Once. And I'm like, bam, fucking right. Rip that bitch right off of that.
That's funny, man.
Say It Once dog training down.
That's how the podcast name came about, man. I'm like, how could anybody not have used that, man? Yeah.
So
whoa.
I drew this. That day. Oh, I drew that day. Say It Once dog training with Vincent. So just like Fred used to have, like Sit Means Sit with Fred. You know what I mean? So I ripped it right off. I drew out some pictures, and that was 12, 13 years ago now. And I took it to my dad, and he said, "Listen, if you're gonna do it, you got to go for it 100%." Because they wanted me to go to college because I was starting to feel better finally. You know what I mean? Mentally,
Go to college and study what? What was like if you went to college? What was it going to be?
I would have been fucked.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm not built for school. I'm smart, but sitting in a room here for 8 hours a day, I would. That's why we're all dog trainers, because we have severe ADD.
I see a common theme with every other dog trainer we've had on so far.
Bad at school, get out. Don't tell me what to do.
Don't tell me what to do. Yeah, I'm not punching anybody's fucking clock, man.
Fuck that shit, dude.
Yeah,
never again.
That was it, man. That's how it started. And it's funny how over the years, how much, even my personal training has changed, because, you just keep learning, you keep trying new shit, you keep, listening to new people, meeting new people. And, I don't take any of my videos down. So like, there's some videos of me training 12 years ago. I love them. I'm going, I would never do that again, but I love it, right? Like, just to see the progression of the growth. I had braces, by the way. Oh, another thing I tried to do to fix my head was get braces to like readjust my jaw. Like, I actually did help a good bit. Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm 22 years old trying this dog training business with these fucking big ass braces on my face, shooting videos. They're kind of funny. I'm going to have to watch them when we hang up just to get a good chuckle.
That's funny, man. Where was your uncle at?
Columbus.
Oh, really? All right. And is he, did he have a business? Was he training dogs for money for people?
So he was trained. It was a side business. It wasn't like his forte. In the 70s and 80s, he did it a lot more. And then as he got older, a new profession. Oddly enough, he works for me now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So is he your? Because I know you're up in Columbus now. Is he your Columbus guy?
No. So we're not in Columbus. He's my phone call guy. Like, he's got the nicest voice of all time. He's the sweetest guy on the planet. So when somebody calls and they've got like, they need to talk to somebody and they need to cry on the phone a little bit, he's the guy you want, because he's the sweet guy. You don't want me.
That's good. How many trainers you got right now?
We have 12 in Pittsburgh, 2 in DC. Actually, we're 13 in Pittsburgh, 2 in DC, and 1 in Cincinnati.
13 in Pittsburgh, 1 city. So yeah, I got 1 in Pittsburgh. Soon, my Pittsburgh trainer went out. I told you, medical leave. Yep. I don't know if they're getting any leads from us. And then we have 1 in Cincinnati. I think I got 3 or 4 in DC. DC is a great market, man. Really good.
That's our newest market. It's going well. There's so much money down there. It's funny how I don't know if you see this, but I assume you see this because you're in a lot of different areas and you change your branding for each area, which is clever. There is a huge way to change. There's a huge difference in the way that people approach dog training, I swear to God, from city to city. Like, Pittsburgh's a pretty blue-collar area. Yeah. That comparative to DC, oh my God. Like, it's a whole different world.
Yeah, the big cities like that are, it's different. What you have to do, how you do it, how you adapt the dogs to, condo living and that kind of thing. Okay, man. Here I am talking to a competitor, 2 markets, 3 markets, but we're looking at a specific, you're probably doing it, like a very specific program just set up for condo dogs, apartment dogs, that kind of thing. So yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's much different. So he never had he didn't have a business name or anything. Is he Soma? Is he a Soma, or is he on your other side?
He's on my mom's side. Yeah.
What's his name?
Andy Levin.
Andy Levin. Yeah. I don't know. I've been around since the 80s, man. So, and the 90s. So, there are a lot of people that I know. I don't know how into it he was or wasn't, so interesting.
He was a big, oh fuck, I don't have it right here. He was a big Paul Loeb fan. I don't know if you remember Paul Loeb from back in the 80s, but that was my first dog training book, was Paul Loeb.
Okay. All right.
And it's funny because Paul Loeb was a dog trainer in the 80s. He, did a lot of commercial dogs too. And he had 2 dog training books. And the first one I was obsessed with, right? Because it was like no food, no rewards, none of this. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. And then he had a second book, and it was all, reward-based dog training. And 12 years ago, God, this guy went crazy. Like, this is the dumbest book ever, right?
Yeah.
And we, I feel like most dog trainers who came from the era of Caesar found that shift some way or another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where they ended on the scale is always going to be different.
Or the pre-Caesar, and everything. It was interesting when he came out. It definitely changed the business. But I've been in the business for 20 years before, 15 years at least before Caesar came along. So it was a totally different thing. But he came along at the right time, we were talking. It just so happened we had another dog trainer on earlier this week, another guy that I was a competitor with back in San Francisco, and we were talking about, like, he's written 4 books. I said, 3. Then he has 1. He's waiting until he's out of the business to publish. Yeah. So he, we were talking about, like, who watches dog training videos, man? Other dog trainers.
Other dog trainers,
to rip on everything you're doing wrong, man. Yeah. Who listens to the dog training podcast? Shit, man. Mostly other dog trainers, So it's kind of the same thing. So when he came along, unfortunately, there's a lot of jealousy. That dude made it huge, and then there was also, you put yourself out there, man. It doesn't matter how you do it or what you do. You are gonna get ripped a new one. We
don't read the comments.
This podcast is not about how to train a dog. This podcast is about, like, how'd you get into the business. Like I said, we talk to musicians, we talk to whatever. It's just our frame of reference happens to be this business, so it is kind of fun to get people in there. So we try not to get delved too much into the like the nitty gritty and how you do it or how we build our business or anything. It's just, I built it. I started from jack shit Yeah, so like most of us did, right? So just
Yep.
like, I have no fucking idea what I'm gonna do either. I got out of the army, man. I was a dog trainer in the army, but I didn't even know people did that. I had no fucking clue that there were people running around making money training dogs for other people, you know. So by necessity, we all kind of ended up like, I was gonna do this, and now I'm doing that. And now with it on TV and everything, shit, man, I get calls all the time from people that are like, this is all I ever wanted to do from the time I was like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, now you got people, you probably got people working with you that, you know, watched Caesar when they were 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, how long has Caesar been out now?
Oh man, he has been out there for a long time. When I was involved in the IACP when they first started out, he was already a fixture on TV, and that was 2000, around 2001, 2002. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple of trainers who are 22, 23 years old. You know what I mean? So, I mean, this is predates even him being out there, which is crazy. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, have you met him? I met him at a couple of conferences and stuff, and
just one time, and I was so happy because he's so short. So I was like, man, I look huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have a picture. I'm like, I look like I'm 6'5".
I mean, but that dude has the. I mean, I met him briefly. I had when I first started this business, it started more as a consulting business and that kind of thing. And I was at a IACP thing, at a booth, and he came by with his. He was divorced, and so he had, you know, some his girlfriend at the time. I don't know what he's got going on now, but his girlfriend, you know, you can only imagine living in Hollywood what she looked like, and. I mean, that dude is like, he's the kind of person that you meet him, you've never met him in your whole life, and he's like your best fucking buddy, you know, and then off he goes to the next person, then he's their best buddy. Yeah. One thing I never did, I said, I'm never going to pose in a fucking photo with that motherfucker and with my arm around him and post it on my homepage, because back in them days, every fucking dog trainer on the planet had a picture of them and Caesar. You could have one of Caesar. And he's standing there, same smile on his face, same everything. And you look at all these people's websites, and they made it look as if like, hey, man, I'm good friends with Caesar Milan. I trained that Caesar. You know, I said, I will never, ever do that. So, yeah, one of the things that I don't do in my business that a lot of people do. But yeah. So he was interesting. Before that, there was, we talked with, a trainer who Brian Kilcommons was like a big he, just like you say, hey man, I like Caesar, and he's the guy that kind of got me into it to a degree, right? Brian Kilcommons is like wrote a couple books, and then a lot of people read those books, and then they got into the business also. Same thing. I went to college, it sucked. I went to the corporate world, it sucked. I did whatever, it sucked. But I'm good with dogs. I want to be a dog trainer. So yeah, man. So yeah, that's totally interesting. So how did you start to like build it? Like, what was your how did you like? Did you have business training? Did your uncle help you with business training? Do you have parents? I know you got an uncle or something that owns like a restaurant business out there.
Yeah, it's
right?
my mom and dad. Yeah, my mom and dad own a restaurant business right down, 5 minutes away.
Pizza business, right? Yeah.
A typical Italian, little Italian American restaurant.
What city is it that you're in?
It's Pittsburgh. But it's it's right near Oakmont. Like everyone knows Oakmont Country Club. We're 5 minutes.
Oakmont, okay. But you're like literally your address is Pittsburgh. It's not like Wexford or whatever.
Oh. It's considered Plumboro.
Plumboro. All right.
Yeah, is our little area there.
I got you.
But on the business front, how did we grow it? I watch my parents and I see how they did things. But it was just about working hard. I mean, as dumb as that sounds, it's like, all right, I just saw clients 7 days a week until I couldn't see any more clients. And I was like, I need some help. So I hired my
Amen to that.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, you get to a point where like, I can't do this anymore. So let me just bring on a second person. And we were winging it. Like, it's just like, fucking, like, all right, you come here. I don't know how many hours I can give you. I don't know what we're going to do. You're going to walk some dogs too. and she's still with me. And that was, you know, 10 years ago. She runs my little boarding kennel 15 minutes from where I live.
Is that the woman that was because you were doing podcasts, right? But you were doing them live. Isn't that right?
I was doing live Q&As. I like live stuff. I like, once again, ADD. Like, I don't want to think about what I'm going to get asked. I just want to be off the cuff with like whatever I'm going to get asked.
Yeah, I hear you.
And yeah, so she was doing a lot of Q&As with me for years on Tuesday nights, right? It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. You know, I hired her 10 years ago, hired a second person, and it just slowly kept getting more and more. And I'm still trying to figure what I'm doing now.
Trying the crowd, man. We before you came on, Shane and I were still trying to figure out what the fuck we were doing.
Yeah, it's kind of funny too. Like the second person I hired, well, the first person I hired was my oldest son, and then after that, though, the first non-related person was kind of the same deal. It was weird time. It was not enough work for a third person. But this particular dude was Hispanic, and it was like, oh, wow, I can have a bilingual trainer on staff. And I was like, I'll teach you. I said, but I said, I can't promise you any work except for Spanish speaking work. So like I joined the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and we advertised on the radio station and the newspapers and blah, 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 blah. Well, we never booked a single Spanish speaking client, but just, you know, it's just the universe doing its thing, man. I mean, before you know it, there was enough work for a third one, and now there's enough work for 15 of them. It's insane. But that ball just starts, the little snowball just gets big, and then you got to hang on.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to hang on, and then you're like, shit, man, this is like a lot, right? It's a lot of, you know, the people see what you're doing. The people say, wow, man, how many again, dude? 13, you said?
Yeah, 13.
13 trainers, 3 locations, blah, blah, blah. Wow, man, you must have it going on. You're like, yeah, man, it is fucking work.
It's like having a tiger by the tail trying not to get bit.
A tiger by the tail, and it's like running an adult daycare, man. Sometimes, man, or herding cats, you know.
It is crazy. I mean, on a good, you know, and when we're really cooking, I mean, we're in 175 homes a week.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. I mean, I was just going to be Shane the dog trainer and not have a real job anymore.
Yeah, sometimes you look back and you're like, hey, that was pretty fun. When's the last time you took a client?
Who, me?
You still taking them?
I have to train dogs, man.
You do?
So I train in person 3 days a week. I can't not.
Wow.
I actually, you know, so last year, or maybe 2 years ago, I tried for a few months not taking clients, just working on the business, and I'm like, it's not me. Like, I can't, so I have to do both, and I just hired someone else to help me grow the business. But
really?
I like training dogs too much to ever not train dogs, even if it's just 3 days a week. I'm like, I'm obsessed. And I also like we do a lot of classes. So, you know, our classes are like our bread and butter. So every Saturday, every Sunday morning at 9 a.m., we have a class in different parks all throughout the city. And we'll, you know, like last week we had 40 dogs for class. And
Good gracious.
The day before that we had 30-something dogs. And the week before that we had our giant, I started a nonprofit 2 years ago, and we had our giant event for our nonprofit where we had 405 dog participants.
Good gracious.
That was badass, dude. It's a lot of fun. But
it's an amazing accomplishment, man. I can't get a group class together to save my freaking life.
Yeah.
15 years.
Yeah.
Zero group class business. We have group classes for our full pay private clients that they graduate in the group, but like having a group class and people signing up that aren't, you know, private clients, nothing. Crickets.
So that, we only allow our private clients to come to group class.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So because it's a cluster, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, but I love people as much as I love dogs. Like a lot of dog trainers get into the business because I fucking hate people. I just want to work.
No, that doesn't work, man. That is an A number one. You're not that nice to talk to you. You
that
know,
only works unless you're doing board to trains.
That's it. I enjoy people. I get a lot of energy from being around people, especially groups of people. So for me, I was like, that like group classes is not work. I love waking up every Saturday, every Sunday. I go, drive to a park. I train. I come home, and I'm done for the day. But I love that. I could do that every day of my fucking life, to be 100% honest.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still love training dogs, but I love dogs, of course. Don't get me wrong. And I love to watch them learn. I like to see it click. My favorite thing is like that first moment you take the leash from the client and you almost see the dog go, fuck, finally, finally, somebody fucking understands what the fuck is going on with me. Right. But my favorite thing is like when you hand the leash to the client and they do it and they're like, you know the deal. They cry. They all kinds of stuff, right? And I do dig that, but dude, I mean, I'm 59 now, man. I got a lot going on top of it all. So I train. I do work with clients when I'm training other dog trainers, right? We have a class for other dog trainers, and I just love doing that. I never charge. I mean, one of the ways we do it is like we do it out in Delaware. I have a class out in DC. In fact, I should hit you up if you get people that like, I just can't afford it, whatever. Those are the people that I hold on to, and I bring them out. And when I do a class of dog trainers, we do one and dones, right? Which you know what that is, I'm sure. Yep. And I take them through the one and done so the students see what it's like to work with a client, hear the questions they ask, all that other stuff, So I really enjoy that also. But God, man, getting in the car, it's impossible. I mean, getting in the car, driving to a client, making the appointment, going to the next one and everything else, it just doesn't work. Taking this project on has been, Shane and I were pissing and moaning before he came on about, damn, man, we got to reschedule these people and this, that, and the other, So
I totally get. You know what's changed my life? Don't yell at me here, okay? Because I'm not an electric car guy. Okay.
Yeah.
That being said, I have an electric car. I'm not an electric car guy. Okay. But I bought a Tesla, and that self-driving in the Tesla is incredible, and it actually has improved my productivity. Because realistically, you can do some shit while you're driving. I don't recommend that. I'm not saying that you guys should be on control while you're driving. But damn, the car drives for you, So
that's crazy. Yeah.
How trustworthy is that? I just had an Uber the other night from a concert, and it was the first time I've ever been in a Tesla. And I was just like, this thing can drive itself.
This thing's it's got like a big screen. It's got like a big screen TV right on the dash, man.
It does.
You can surf the internet.
It looks really interesting, but I don't know if what's it like hitting a button and just saying "fuck it"?
Oh shit!
Don't kill me.
So the way I look at it is, it's got to be safer than me driving, right? Like I'm all over the place and looking around and flicking people off. So I'm like, this thing, it goes under the speed limit. It puts the turn signal on every time. You can't
really.
Oh my god!
That was shit, man.
God, I mean, like, what if somebody like cuts you off or something? I mean, is the reaction time as good or better than yours would be?
It's a computer. You know what I mean? Like, it's way faster. You know what I mean? Granted, I would say the biggest flaw is potholes in animals, right? Like, if you see a deer, it's not going to recognize a deer, at least not yet.
Wow, gotcha.
But
what's the process of going? Like, if you see a deer coming up.
Oh, you just move the wheel and it takes it right out.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, like, how do you turn the auto drive off?
I think there's like a pound of pressure setting. So if you put on a little pressure on the steering wheel, it'll go out.
God damn, man! I can't. I rent a car that has stuff like that. And I can't handle it. I turn it off, man. But I'm driving a 10-year-old. I'm driving a 10-year-old piece of crap. Well, a piece of crap, but I'm driving a 10-year-old car right now. I don't have a backup camera now.
How do you survive
without backup camera? Well, I had a couple with the backup camera, and I still put my arm on the seat and looked over my shoulder with the camera on. Yeah. Well, now I'll tell you, man, that if you knew Shane, Vinny, I can see him at a Tesla dealer this weekend. Looking at, I got a call from him. Hey, man, I just bought a Tesla.
No. I just got a Sprinter. We're good. We're good there.
Yeah.
With all my markets in North Carolina last year, what I spent in travel, hotels, bar tabs, all that shit was stupid. And I mean, it was all productive work time. But I mean, so this year I got a Sprinter. Me and my dog, we just travel all over North Carolina working in markets, and I do the podcast out of it. I rehearse.
Yeah, he's in it right now.
I thought you were in it. I was like, he's probably in some sort of van.
Yeah. So we got I got a shitter, a shower, refrigerator, TV, bed. I got, we rolling.
I love it, dude. I love it.
You still got that Volkswagen, or did you find it? You did, man. I love those things, man.
I had an old VW bus, Shane, and I was obsessed with it. You can put the dogs in it. One of these guys, you know what I mean? But I bought that and sold the actual van and said, "All right, it's time."
Yeah. I want to get a little one and convert it to a camper over in Portugal and take that thing all over up and down the coast, go surfing and stuff, man. But someday I'll get there. I mean, I'm there, but I'm not, buying cars and shit over there yet. Yeah. So, man. So, what? Shit, man. I had another question. I'll think of it, Shane. Man, we're right at 30 minutes. You got to read your shit. We got one sponsor.
We're
gonna send you some shit.
That reminds me. I got to do that today. You got to get me the last couple folks' address.
Yeah. Same thing. I'll text you for your mailing address, and we'll send you out some goodies from our one and only sponsor.
That's weird. My phone must have heard you because I opened up my notes and it was exactly on the fucking
probably did,
on the fucking thing. All right, so our sponsor for the show is a company called Kakalaki. And they are hailed as the local brand with a national following, now celebrating more than 2 decades in business. North Carolina-based Kakalaki brand is the iconic Southern lifestyle brand that specializes in Kakalaki-branded sauces, snack nuts, beverages, food service and menu items, apparel, outdoor sporting goods, sponsored events, and more. The company also makes and distributes Kakalaki Cheerwine sweet sauce, as well as the Carolina Tar Heels barbecue sauce, which is an officially licensed collegiate product. Kakalaki is a family-owned and operated business in Pittsburgh, North Carolina. And if you hear this podcast and go on and get yourself a fine gathering of their products and put in ButFixer15 at checkout, you'll get 15% off of your order. And I always say, and this is not just because they're a sponsor. They actually became a sponsor because I use it all the time. You can go on my cooking pages and see that almost every other post is at least a Kakalaki something. This stuff's awesome. I've got the nuts in my cabinet. I got damn sauce in the fridge. I got it all.
Kakalaki.
Kakalaki.com today. ButFixer 15% off your order.
We'll send you out. Shane will send you out a box of some shit.
Text John your address and I'll send it out. I got to ship a few of them today, so cool. I'll put yours in there too.
But did you ever get them out? Did you send that shit to Sweden?
No, it was $65. I told Paulo to fuck him. I'm gonna send an $8 can of peanuts for $65 to Sweden. Fuck that.
Yeah.
This podcast needs a few more followers before we start balling like that.
And then some. Yeah, man. So So how you're not doing your live Q&A anymore?
Nah, not anymore. Scrapping it possibly this winter. So I get married in 4 weeks too. So that's
I know. I was just gonna say, yeah.
That's which is taking up a great deal of time. We had our big event I was telling you guys. So I finally feel like I'm going to be able to breathe here and do some new stuff.
Tell me about your nonprofit. What do you got going on there? What's it for?
That's a great question. Thanks, Shane. So the nonprofit's called the Say It Once Rescue League, and it provides funding for training for dogs that are in foster care or shelter care that are just on the edge. You know what I mean? They can't find a home or they can't stick in a home. So we just provide funding for these dogs to get training. The whole goal is
I have thought about that a million times. That is so cool that you pulled that off.
Yeah, it's great. You know what I mean? It's great. And so we hold that big event. We raised $40,000 at the big event, the Dog Derby is what it's called, 2 weeks ago. So that will sustain us and be able to help a lot of dogs, which is great. And the whole goal is stop getting dogs returned, right? Because a lot of dogs get a home and then a second home, and then it's like, oh my God, think of it just the dog
we've got a program called Sally Said So to the Rescue.
That's cool.
Yeah, we do basically the same thing without the nonprofit. We just donate the training and all that kind of stuff to
badass.
Keep them in the home. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
the
problem.
40 grand, man. That's fantastic, dude. That's a lot of dogs you can help.
Fuck yeah. I mean, it's a lot of dogs, and it took a lot. I mean, so the dog derby, our main event for the rescue league is a 5K obstacle course on ski slopes. So there's like 6 hills that you run up with your dogs, and there's tires, there's hay, there's water
5K.
areas. Yeah, dude, it's fun.
Wow.
Now you can walk. You don't have to run, right? Like,
yeah. Okay, good. People, I'm out. I'm all right. That sounds great idea, but y'all have fun being active.
And it's like these dogs are loving it. They're all over the place. Like from a dog training perspective, you're coming to go, I don't know how much we're going to enjoy this, but from from just a love of dogs and people, it's an awesome event. And there's, we had 42 vendors, food trucks, beer trucks, liquor trucks, a lot of different types of, like, even a couple of my competitors came out and opened up a booth, and I was like, that's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's all for the cause, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Competition doesn't count when you're trying to help these dogs stay in somebody's home,
Bingo.
Yeah.
So
that's insane. Cool. That's wow. What's it like? So how long ago did you set that up? And like, what was the kind of the trajectory of the idea to, like, you just raised 40 grand? Like, how do you?
And you had 400 dogs? Is that
400? Yeah, 405 dogs ran. We probably had 600 there that day, but so and we did it like at 8 o'clock or at 8:30. That 20 dogs went. At 8:45, 30 dogs went. At 9 o'clock, 30. You know what I mean? So we staggered them out, so it wasn't like, bam bam. But yeah, I was on the phone one day and I was talking, and I'm like, man, I really want to create this event. So the event came before the nonprofit. Like, I was like, what kind of event can I think of that, and I'm like, man, I really think people should run this course with their dog, and I think it would be great. And from that event, we were like, well, what are we going to do with all this money? Like, I mean, technically we could just put it in St. One's dog training and call it a freaking day, right? $4 grand for one huge day worth of work. But from the event came a nonprofit. And I had somebody who worked their ass off setting up this nonprofit. Her name's Kimmy, and she kicked ass. And
who did you say? Janine?
Kimmy.
Kimmy.
Yeah, she helped us set up this nonprofit and just take it from step 1 to where we're at now. And now we're just trying to ramp it up even more. That's the issue with when you have like the first year we had 200 something dogs. Last year we had 305 dogs, or 315 dogs, give or take. And then this year it's like 405. What the fuck am I going to do for next year? You know what I mean? How many more dogs can I possibly bring, or what can we do next? So, but the nonprofit itself is cool, mainly because, rescues don't have that much money, and everybody, it's funny because everybody in rescue work says the same thing. Like, every volunteer in rescue work, my paying jobs hours are this. So that, it's like everyone is trying their best to sneak in a few extra hours to help dogs. And it's hard because you're trying to get a few extra hours from everybody to sync up to achieve a goal. And that, that's the hardest part about nonprofit work. And then the other thing, Shane, that's been really hard, and John, has been really hard, is when I pay you for something, I am invested in it completely. So therefore I will do more work for it. When you give me something for free and I don't have any skin in the game, I'm not as likely to follow through with what you're telling me, because I'm not that invested. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't have as much skin in the game. So that's been a unique problem that, that we're trying to overcome, is going, okay, how do I get people to understand, one, what they're getting it's really valuable. And two, how do I, it's easy to get someone to commit when they're paying, right? It's super easy to get them to commit.
Well, yeah, kind of.
Yeah. But when they're not, I'm like, I need the same return of when I'm dealing with somebody who's getting something for free versus someone paying. So we've made some adjustments which have helped out a shit ton. But yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun too. For me.
So what process what criteria do you have a kind of like how do you decide who's worthy of those funds and who's not? Like, how do you decide this person is going to get it and this person's not going to get it?
So far So far, we only work with rescues that I know personally, that I know their process and I know how they work. Like, it's funny, just a quick side note, because this happened yesterday. Would you believe I got fucking turned down for 2 dogs from rescues? I have a 17-acre farm completely fenced in, right? Like, I'm a dog trainer.
Right.
I fucking, like, my hours are pretty damn good. And I'm like, how is it? And it's all because of the tools that we use, right? It's just, it's the nature of the beast. If you're going to use a prong collar, you're going to eat people that don't do that. So obviously I would not work with those rescues that I got turned down with the nonprofit,
right.
Or they wouldn't work with us, I guess is a better way to say it.
Okay. So when you're doing this, you're dealing directly with the rescue, not the, like if somebody just emails you one day and goes, oh, I lost my job and blah, 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 blah. And my dog's crazy. I'm gonna have to get rid of it. Can you help me? You're not dealing with those folks. You're just going with like the director of the rescue and those funds get distributed that way, or both?
Bingo. Yeah. So 2 dogs every month you can send to us, and it's an ongoing thing. So if you send me 2, we'll work 2 this month, and if they trickle on the next, that's great. You send on 2 more.
Okay. So they're coming to you for like board to train. You're not sending the trainers to the foster home or what have you.
No, we're going to their foster home. Yeah. So we're going to their foster home, but 2 dogs a month. So like they'll bring a dog, and I'll go every week until we feel like this dog is right, or every other week until we feel like this dog is right, either in that home or can now find a new home.
Right.
Gotcha.
So,
man, that's freaking badass, dude.
Thanks,
so
dude. I appreciate it.
Where are the funds paying the trainers for the time? Your trainers? Is that basically how it's going, or what?
So they pay for 2 things. They pay for we do a discounted rate for the training, because obviously I'm not going to make money from that. So they'll pay the trainer's time to go there. And then they also pay, like, a lot of the funds actually get put into more events to make more funds, and more events to make more funds.
Of course. Yeah.
Like, thus, which is something that we ran into a problem with the past 2 years, is we kept running out of fucking money. Right. It's like, well, you can't run one event and then be done. Right. 40K will last you a long time. And just because you raise 40K doesn't mean I didn't spend 8 to make this happen.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so, you net 30K, which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then it's like, how do I use 30K to, just like in business, dude, how do I use 30K to make 50K?
Yeah, of course.
And then how do I get here? But while also taking 2 dogs a month from 4 different rescues in Pittsburgh, a few different rescues in DC, and 2 different rescues in Cincinnati, it works really. I mean, the rescue is a beautiful thing, and it does an amazing job. And we just need to keep growing that. But also it really does help helps dogs. It helps me. It helps my trainers. It helps, like you were talking about, Shane, a lot of the people that are going to receive the free training are not people that live in $1 million home, right? Like,
right. Yeah.
And if the rescue were to do that, I would have a long talk with them. Don't send me people like this, right?
Yeah.
They're fine.
Someone could cover it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
Yeah.
Man, that is really cool, dude. I swear that's crossed my mind a million times, and I'll be like, fuck it. And then, that's fucking great, dude.
It's a miss. I mean, I've been in this a long time, like you guys know, man, and it's been the same problem since I started, which is probably the number one reason dogs are returned to the rescue is because they can't adapt. The people can't train them. They're not training them properly or whatever. And it does make you mad sometimes, right? When you're like, well, I can help, but you're not going to accept my help because you don't like the way I do it, right? And I mean, like, well,
it's asinine. It's like death before discomfort is a crazy stance.
Yeah, that is a good way to put it, for sure, man. Yeah,
and that's the nutty thing to me is like a lot of us put our videos that we train online. It's not like I'm doing fucking something different. I train in front of the human. They see what I'm doing.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not taking them around the back, hitting them with a fucking baseball bat and bringing them back out. It's like the dog's happy here with the tool on. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is an entire culture problem at the moment, right?
It's a whole, well, you got it. When you get a chance, if you're driving around in your Tesla, take a listen to,
that thing. He's riding, man.
Yeah. Take a listen to the podcast, before yours. And like I said, I mean, Mike is a super smart guy. I mean, he wrote, you know, I needed a dictionary while we're doing the podcast, like to figure out what the fuck he's talking about just in general. But he sent me a manuscript. It's about 400. It's about a 400-page rant on how about exactly what we were talking about, and yeah, super crazy. So but it is what it is. I mean, when I was first starting out, it was you dug your heels in and you said, you even would want to like have arguments with other trainers and stuff like that. And now I'm like, I don't care what you do. I just care about what I do. And I care about what the results my clients get, and are they happy? And can they take that and follow through and not need another dog trainer? Not only me, a lot of times, I mean, I feel like sometimes if I get a call from a client and they got another dog, 10 years later, 15 years later, and they're calling me, if they feel like they need a full-blown training thing, I feel like, what did I do wrong? What have I done wrong? Yeah, I could give you a refresher, whatever, but you should not need me to come out over and over again once you know what to do. So I feel like transferring the knowledge is to a client is fine. If you're a trainer, you don't believe in the way that you have a different way of doing it, I don't care. Now, at this point, if you get the job done and the dog stays in the home and the people are happy and everything else, then yeah, I don't care if you feed them pizza all day long.
Yeah. It's crazy to me how much time people put and how much energy people put into trying to have a debate that I just don't give a shit about anymore. Right? Like 4 or 5 years ago,
you don't give a shit.
Yeah, online, if someone was like, why would you use that tool? I would post it's 20-minute sermon on why I did that.
Exactly.
Realistically, I'm not good. Like, even that, I put up a post yesterday. I'm like, man, I can't believe I got denied for a dog. Like, that's horseshit. And then I post it and I go, oh God, I'm going to get fucking comments that I don't want to have to fucking read.
Don't read them.
I know. And that's the problem. It's like, but there's still that guy inside of me that's like, you can fucking do it. Right. And I'm constantly like telling him, dude, chill the fuck out, go take a nap. Like we're solid. We're moving on.
Yeah. So what's your fiance? Is she like a civilian or is she also in the business?
So what's funny? She's a civilian, right?
Right.
She's not in the business, although she does help me a shit ton.
I'm sure.
Yeah. She, you guys know how it is.
Yep.
But I had her at a class with me 2 weeks ago, and like I told you guys, my classes are for my clients only, right? Like no newbies can come. And this older couple brought 2 5-month-old sibling German Shepherd dogs from Europe, right? And they had to be 65, 70 years old. And I'm like, Chess, I need you to do me a favor. Her name's Francesca. I need you to do me a favor. I need you to take those dogs in the outside of class, teach those dogs how to heel for 15, 20 minutes, bring them into class, and and she's like, all right, she's a gamer. She's all right. So she goes out, fucking teaches his dogs. We put them back into class. And I look at my trainers, because sometimes my trainers will be like, oh, these new guys came to class, and it was like, listen, if she can do it, then you shut the fuck up and you get out there and you make it happen, right? Because those dogs came back and they were, like they knew where to reward from. They knew how to put pressure on. I'm like, okay, really, really.
How do you tell me about your trainers, like some backgrounds. I mean, I've got them from all over. We're just talking about, I have one of my trainers is also on a podcast, and he came out of the restaurant business. I mean, he started, he's, the reinvention. He just could not handle another day in the restaurant. He's on Craigslist looking for, what am I going to do with my life? And he found some one I posted in Connecticut and called. He said, this can't be real. Called me up. Now he's a dog trainer. And his pitch when he's, you go and do a behavior consult for us, I don't know how it is with you, Vinny, but I mean, probably the same. If I always tell people, if I'm in your living room, if you had me come into your living room, I know what I'm doing. So I don't need to sell you dog training. What I need to sell you on is I'm not training the dog, man. You are. And can you do these things that I need you to do in order to be successful? And his pitch was always, and that's what made me think about it, is when you said it. If I could do it, he tells them, I was a restaurant guy, man. I just answered a Craigslist ad, man. And here I am, and I've been doing it 10 years, and I'm super successful. And if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, it's a good line.
Yeah. He uses it all the time. Well, you know the deal, man. You use the same. You use the same lines all the time, the same analogies, the same jokes, the same.
We used to be the official dog training company for Bass Pro Shops, and we were doing. We had about 13 Bass Pro Shops we were doing classes in across the country, and one day I was in Bass Pro in Raleigh, and we were there. They would always turn the tanks off when we do classes. We do them right in front of the fish tank, but it was so loud, they would turn the pumps off.
Right.
And I'm sitting there. I got there early one night, and I'm sitting there with the guy, and they turned the pumps off, and all the fish go to the top. And I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" He's like, "Oh," he said, whenever we turn the pumps off, they know we're going to feed them. And I was like, "What?"
Dude, that's pretty awesome. Even
Stimuli, response. The fucking fish can understand that when A happens, B happens, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no fucking way you can't teach your dog the same goddamn thing. It's a fucking fish, okay? When the water stops running, we eat. It's the same fucking thing. So I used to use it. The fish can fucking do it. The dog can do it.
Yeah. Shane, did you train in Bass Pro Shops? Like you had you had something with them? That's pretty badass.
Oh yeah. It was wide open, man. We were using John's trainers to make it nationwide. And it's just like it's the classic dog trainer thing, man. We were at a dog. They have a dog days event every year.
Yeah.
And we were there along with 3 or 4 other dog training companies and the cookie company, all the dog stuff for the day. And the event ends at 4:00. Well, 3:00, 3:15, you see everybody starting to put their stuff in their little boxes and they're starting to pack up their little booth and everything. I always stay till the end because they all left. And the general manager for Bass Pro Shops was there at the event. And I was like, "Hey, man," I had him all to myself, because everybody else was already packing their stuff up. And I was like, "Dude, what do you think about doing group class right here in front of the fish tank?" He was like, "Can we do that?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, we can do that."
Dude, were you at the point where they were selling it at the register for you?
Yeah, they were selling it. Yeah, dude, they basically gave me the store and said, "Advertise all you want." I had banners hanging up. I had ads on the back of the bathroom stalls. I had little pop-up banners.
Yeah.
You couldn't go in or out of that place without seeing Sally Said So. And and then through him, he hooked me up with another general manager and another general manager and another. And then we got into we were in about 13 of them at the height of it all.
I see Vinny's wheels turning right now, man.
Yeah,
I definitely did. Yeah.
I texted the girl that helped.
I saw it.
Yeah, she helps me get partnerships. I go, "Dude, why can't we do classes inside of Cabela's?"
Exactly.
Right? Like we have a Cabela's nearby. If you can
Bass Pro bought Cabela's bought Bass Pro bought Cabela's. It's all the same thing now.
Oh no shit.
And yeah, that's the only reason that we didn't do classes there anymore is when the merger happened. They just killed all extracurricular activities until they got it going, and figured out. And then,
it's brilliant.
But then all the same people went away, and then it's like starting from scratch again. And I just ain't got the horsepower. It was fun to say I could put my Bass Pro logo on my website. It was pretty cool, but.
Well, it takes that one contact. You know how it is, man. You get one advocate in there, and then you get him or her to hook you up with the other general manager. The other people.
Yeah.
So we were like that with Vetiquinol and that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same.
Yeah,
the same thing.
You get me some nonprofit connections, and I'll get you some Bass Pro connections.
Fuck, all day long, dude.
Yeah. I mean, no problem.
I'll franchise your program.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do first franchisee.
Do the dog derby in North Carolina. I mean, Shane's got the reach, that's for sure. He can definitely do it.
We got it. I mean, I'm telling you, dude, I think that's a fucking great idea, dude. That is just spectacular.
Thank you, man. I'll send you some videos. I think you'll enjoy them.
Yeah, I want to see that.
So back to the question. What give me some ideas of your the background to some of your people that you got out there now.
Yeah, fuck. We did one of those ones. They're from all over, right? So a couple of them went to different dog training schools.
Okay.
Couple of them I snagged from other dog training places.
Yeah.
2 of them I got from being dog walkers for a really long time. One ran a kennel facility for 15 years, and he was like, didn't want to do that anymore. A couple of normal civilians who, one ran a dog rescue, and I'm like, all right, come on, let's train these dogs. So it's from all over. There's no real rhyme or reason. The only thing that I ask when I look for a trainer, because we provide in-home training, the only thing that I ask is somebody who is, even if they fake it, slightly extroverted around people.
Oh, absolutely.
I need you to be super engaging. You look into their eyes, you shake their hand, you break their fucking hand. You know what I mean? You just engage with them so that the people feel like I want to have this person back. I have made that mistake before and they're very kind people, but they're more introverted. Those people need to be, they have a better success training dogs behind a wall instead of in front of somebody. So those are typically better board and train trainers, or whatever it is without the people being there. So that's how I got them. They're all a collection, and they're great. I mean, they're great people. They're just a great team. The greatest team of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I would look. I mean, in the beginning, there wasn't in the beginning for me, there wasn't a million people with dog training experience out there looking for jobs. Now, I mean, especially since COVID and the COVID boom, and then the COVID non-boom. I mean, everybody blew up during COVID, and a lot of people, they laid their trainers off and everything else. So now when I'm looking for a trainer, I mean, I don't even have to really hire anybody with no experience, like stone cold civilian. But in the old days, restaurant people that were bartenders, people that were servers, people that can just hey man, what's happening? The dog part, I can teach you, most people, I mean, Shane will tell you, I had Shane, usually, because sometimes I don't have the luxury to meet these people 100% face to face. They're in Las Vegas. I'm out here. I got to bring them out to North Carolina to do training or whatever. But everything is done with FaceTime, this, that, and the other. But you don't truly know till you're in the same room with them. And I mean, Shane, we had someone come out for training, and Shane calls me up and said, "Hey man, blah blah blah." And I called her up. I said,
"Go back home.
Go to the airport. Go to the airport. I sent you a plane ticket back to LA, man."
She got a 2-hour tour of the airport and the Airbnb and back to the airport.
Yeah.
It's like this somebody's got to go back.
I mean, in those cases, when you know. I mean, I learned don't put a square peg in a round hole, and it is not every. I make you jump through so many hoops to come and work with us that I know you've got to be a dog lover. You've got to care about what you're going to affect the future of this dog, the dog's ability to stay in the home, the dog's ability to stay out of rescue, all these other things. But I cannot teach a 20-something, 30-something, 40-something, 50-something year old person how to get along in the real world, how to talk to people, that's a class that's like a 4-year, that's like a 4-year degree process, man. I don't have that much time to teach people. So you have to be you got to be a good people person. You got to be able to transfer knowledge. School teachers are great. They're really good. They deal with kids, but they also deal with parents. I mean, school parents are actually awesome because school teachers are awesome because they kind of deal with the same thing. Their biggest skill is to be able to handle crazy fucking parents, right? And the biggest skill we have is to be able to handle crazy, dog owners. And I love all my clients, but if they had their shit together with the dog, we wouldn't be in the living room in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So
that's
keep doing what you're doing.
Not only that, school teachers get paid less. So it's a good crossover move.
Is that like a bunch of bullshit or what, man? I mean, I meet school teachers. I'm like, God damn, man, my dog trainers are making 4 times what you're making, and you have a master's degree,
and you're buying fucking school products for your
with your own money. That would be like your dog trainers having to buy all the equipment for the clients out of their own money after getting paid. Yeah.
Wow. We call on our end, we call it being a chameleon. All of our trainers, I tell them, you got to be a chameleon. You got to be whatever that person needs for that hour. Sometimes you're going to be the marriage counselor. Sometimes you're never even going to touch the dog. They just need somebody to talk to. You're going to be the shoulder to cry on. You're going to celebrate together. You're going to, all that stuff. It's just, and in the car, you can think whatever you want to the next one. But for that hour, you're what that person needs,
Yep.
So, Vinny, you got 4 trainers out of Pittsburgh, right? Is that right? And the rest are all in Pittsburgh?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. And so how often do you get them all like together? And when you get together, do you put on a like, I'm going to do a weekend or a week of, we're going to.
Yeah, we call them kennel days, right? And that's the hard part. To get everybody in together is always challenging. Like the dog derby, that event that I was telling you guys about is the easiest one. So everybody comes up for that. We, hang out, we eat together, the whole 9 yards. But we try to get our trainers together in Pittsburgh, together every 6-8 weeks. This year's been crazy just because it's crazy. But if we're in Pittsburgh and we can all drive to and just train 2 or 3 dogs together, it's beneficial. And then one other change we made this year is Tuesdays. We call them farm days. So like I train on my farm on Tuesdays. So people bring their dog here. But if my trainers are having a difficult dog, I say, hey, bring them here. Come train with me so I can, we can kind of fluff some stuff up together. Because it is hard to be on top of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what I mean? And trying to provide support to them at the same time. And that also is something that I take into consideration when I'm hiring somebody is how much do I have to micromanage them? Because if the answer is a lot, I can't hire. I can't do it, right? Like, yeah,
dude, I've got a general manager and an office manager, and if the trainer's got a training problem, client problem, they go to Kelly. If they got a scheduling problem, they go to Ann. If Kelly and Ann can't handle it, they come to me. So we've got every year a little bit more space. Yeah, because I don't go out and train dogs anymore. I haven't for years. It's my turning point was working on the business instead of in the business, and that really kind of shot the growth up. And I'll go out but I mean, at this stage, my best trainers they're equally as good, if not better, at it than I am. With the handling and all that stuff. So I haven't had a situation where I've had to go out and see a dog for quite a while. But it works both ways. Again, you can't have somebody that you got to micromanage all the time, just like you were saying. That's that's a full-time job. Keeping up with one person you could have done so much for the others.
Yeah. We get them together. I mean, I'd like to do it once a year, but they're coming from all over the country, and they're not. I mean, they are not employees. They're not W-2 employees. I can't tell them the whole nature of legally and everything else. I cannot tell them you need to be here.
Right.
Blah blah blah. So what I do is I set it up and it's open. Okay, here it is. Here's the space. Here's the agenda. Here's what we're going to do. Can you make it? And right now I'm in the middle of, organizing that. You can imagine. Right now we're all hooking up in Kansas City in a couple weeks and doing.
Next week.
Yeah. Shane's coming. We're rolling out another program. We're doing what we do out there. And but yeah, I was curious. It's always, but they're all staying in the house together. We did, last one we did was in Aruba. We all went to Aruba. I rented a house in Aruba because Aruba sounds like, wow, that must be expensive. But shit, man, for some of these people, flying to Aruba is about as expensive as flying to Kansas City. And if they have a house to stay in, and I'm connected with, I have a lot of connections in Aruba. So I'm connected with the dog rescues out in Aruba. That is a nonstop fountain out there. Dogs on the street, dogs everywhere. These rescues, they come in every morning and there's 4 dogs thrown over the fence, and those are the dogs that people don't just kill, out on the street. They got to get those dogs out of there. There's nowhere. It's an island, man. There's nowhere for the dogs to go. So they got to get a dog from the street, living in a wild rescue kennel situation, put them on a plane, and now you're living in downtown Amsterdam. Or now you're living in Boston. Or now oh yeah, I really want a dog. Okay, I got a dog. Everybody, the dog came from Aruba. There could be a dog rescue right next door to these people's houses, but they want the dog that came from Aruba because then they have a story saying, I got my dog rescued from Aruba, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So get the dog from Aruba and the dog has never even been in a house before. And they're like, this is very awesome. And the dog's like, this is awesome. And they're like, okay, see you later. I'm going to work. come home and your apartment's tortoise shit, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the dog has nowhere to go. Then the dog ends up in the U.S. rescue system if it gets surrendered. So I trained a trainer that is in Aruba, and she works with the dog rescues, and we have a network, our network of trainers, that if the dog comes out from Aruba and it's in Pittsburgh or it's in Boston, or even if it's in Amsterdam, I have a trainer in Amsterdam now that they will donate some time to going out there and trying to solve a problem so that the dog doesn't get surrendered and end up God knows where, So that's what we did. That's what we did last time. And of course, I think they drank the island dry while they were all there on top of everything else, man. But it's fun. It is fun to get them all together. It's fun to talk to you, to talk to a dog trainer. Yeah, we all know the same stories, man. We could
100%.
Yeah.
One of my clients is one of the pilots that goes and picks those dogs up, and they bring them to Pittsburgh. Like, that's part of their nonprofit work. Is they?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which one? The life flight or the rescue flight or whatever? Is it the?
Yeah, I don't know the name. I got to think of the name. But what island do they call dogs pot cakes?
That is pot cakes. It's not Aruba. They're called Canucos in Aruba. Pot cake.
I can't remember. I'm gonna have to Google it.
Is it one of the ABCs? Like Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire? Now I'm Googling. Hello,
the Caribbean, the Bahamas.
The Bahamas. And so this guy goes to the Bahamas and gets him. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, they have a difficult time in Aruba. The U.S. carriers cannot, because they have to put dogs in crates, and they go as cargo. And unless it's a direct flight out of Aruba, the heat, everything else. And so the rescues in Aruba also have to charter planes that they can, sometimes get 15, 20 dogs on a charter flight, and in the plane, pressurized, climate controlled everything. And it's a lot, man. That's a lot. And it is the Aruban government doesn't give a fuck, really, and any money they get, they you want to know, you see a big house in Aruba, it's owned by a government official, man. Let me just put it, let me just put it that way. So, but yeah, we did Aruba, Kansas City. We're going to get together and work on a few things that we've been doing. So yeah, that's cool, man. It's always fun to get them all. It's always fun to get them all together.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So, but it has been I'm still on the ride now, man. I haven't gotten off. We talk about getting off sometimes, but I haven't gotten off yet. So, yeah. Well, Shane's a good resource. I'm a good resource if you ever need anything. Shane is connected. Also, she came on our podcast, Molly. And Molly, what's her last name, Shane?
Molly?
Molly.
Who?
The rescue lady that we had on our thing.
Oh, Molly. I thought it
was Molly. Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
My damn ears. Yeah. Molly runs the biggest rescue in the state. And we're connected everywhere, man. Just if you need something, say something.
That would be a cool, man. Do a dog derby, man. Vinny's done all the hard work already, man. You could just take it and run with it. Do a similar thing, or you guys could do it together.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool.
Once you do it once, it's always easier to do it again. That's for sure.
Ain't that the truth?
So what's on the horizon for you that you can talk about with a couple competitors? You'll be in North Carolina competing with Shane soon.
Dude, the only thing on my horizon is this wedding. That's it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's it. That is it. Oh, and I'm getting a puppy. I should have. That's also So I lost my Mastiff 2 years ago, and I told myself when it's time. And I'm a big energy guy, and I don't think everything happens. I do think everything happens for a reason. And I had 4 or 5 specific Mastiff puppy connections over the past few, even the past 3-4 days. And I'm just like, all right, it's time.
All right, you get another Mastiff.
English Mastiff, yeah.
Yeah, dude. My last one was a French Mastiff.
Adorable. So there's one available for fucking adoption, a Bordeaux.
Is it?
They won't let me get them because I use a phone collar.
But you're not
Man,
exclusively. I know you're not exclusive prong collar or anything, man. Are you?
No,
I mean,
no, of
yeah,
course not.
just because you know what one is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's the best home possible, 17-acre farm. A guy that's a dog trainer that has access to, all these dog trainers and blah blah blah, and they're not going to let you have a dog.
Nope.
Yeah,
that's insane. And part of the Sally Said So to the Rescue presentation states exactly that. It's like rescues make it so hard to rescue the fucking dog that people just go to the Walmart parking lot and just get them for $50, and they're like, "Here, take 2 of them. Here's one for free. Just get rid of it." You know what I mean? It's like it's so difficult. But the shit, I had something that was in line with God, I lost my damn train of thought. Damn it, I had something to throw in there on the. What were we just talking about right before? Oh, with the Mastiff. So, like, one of the services we do down here, I've always, ever since day one, we have a pre-purchase puppy consult where we pair people with dogs. Yep. And so, like, when my Mastiff died, I was like, I did my own pre-purchase puppy consult on myself because Nancy taught me 2 things: I ain't never gonna have another 160-pound dog, and I ain't never gonna have another dog that sheds. Even a month after she passed away, my Roomba was still full of her hair. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I got my dog now. He's just about a year and 4 months now. He's a Legato. And,
oh, nice, yeah.
But it's like when I did my own thing, I want something small, doesn't shed. As soon as you go don't shed, you only got about 5 choices anyway.
Yep.
And being the dog trainer part of me is like, I'm not getting a freaking poodle or a doodle or a,
they're on my list, brother. I mean, they're half my clients. How could I not get one? You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
That's funny.
And so I got the Legato, and he's fantastic, man. He's gonna be. We travel, we go everywhere together. He's my service dog now, and then so we're literally connected at the hip 24/7. Man, it's the best thing ever.
That's cool.
Yeah,
having the right dog just changes everything.
It does,
100%.
Well, Vinnie, man, we could go on and on. Like, again, probably the only people listening to this are going to be other dog trainers, and then they're going to pick out like 4 minutes of shit we said that they don't agree with, and who knows where that's going to end up. But
before you wrap it up completely, there, so I do have one question about getting the same dog again. Like, usually, like, I couldn't. The Sally of Sally Said So was my Boston Terrier. There's no chance on the fucking planet I could ever own another Boston Terrier. I can't even look at a client's Boston Terrier and not say that's not Sally. You know what I mean? If I had one, I would fuck it up because it looks like her, but it doesn't act like her.
Yep.
And my grandfather, when he was alive, was the polar opposite. He had Irish red setters my entire life, and by the time he passed away, they were all named Reddy Girl. Same dog, same name.
Dude,
and when he passed away, we were on Reddy Girl number 6.
So
like, can you look at another Mastiff and not compare it to your buddy on the wall?
So that's the thing. It was really hard. Like that's where I'm at. I'm like, now I'm like questioning if, like, I love the fawn with a black Mastiff. I think that's that's my favorite. And I'm like, do I get a brindle? Even though all brindle dogs are all, I swear to God, brindle dogs are fucked. But anyway, do I get a brindle? But I'm ready now to say, okay, I want to do this again. Like I'm ready to start this, this process again. I love the breed so much, but I wouldn't pick, if a Bordeaux came up and it was up for adoption, like I have no problem. All of my dogs are rescue dogs, so I rescued that St. Bernard, the Coonhound, the Pitty, but I know what I want. And if I can't find it, or if I can't fucking get it because no one gives it to me, I'll just go buy it. I'm going to go to a good breeder, do the right work.
I'm the same way too. With that process with our client, with the pre-purchase puppy consult, I actually research the breeders and the rescue. Like, if it's rescue, we go temperament test it before they take it home. And if it's a breeder, I do all the breeder research. Like when I got Nancy, she was the only breeder that offered me 3-generation pedigree on certified hips and hearts without me asking. A giant breed, first 2 things to go, hips and hearts.
Yep.
And so that's like stuff we look for. We're going to do business with somebody. It's going to be somebody like that. But anyways, I was just curious about getting what your thoughts on, emotionally looking at a dog going,
it's gonna be hard.
It's not the last one. It's not gonna. It's the next one.
I know, and I internally I already know that whatever dog I ever get will never hold any weight comparative to him. So as long as I go in with that, but I'm excited. I've actually can't believe how excited I am to get a fucking puppy. I'm like, come on, let's
awesome.
go.
I know, man, when we got Lemmy, man, me and my wife flew to Oklahoma, and it was kind of funny because they had sent me pictures of the litter, and I had an emotional attachment to a specific dog just visually. It was like, oh man, like that's the one. And when we got there, my wife picked up the one that I have. I picked up the one that I had this kind of connection with, via picture, and had, you know how it is. You're already planning your life with your dog, and we're going to go do this, and it's going to be like that. I had all that shit. And then as soon as I picked that dog up, I was like, nope. There was nothing there. Yeah. The one that my wife was holding, which is the one that I have now, Lemmy, he ran across, when she put him down, he ran across the entire house, came around and sat on my foot. It's like, all right, there you go. So you just never know. It's so hard that decision's always got to be a head one, not a heart one.
Bingo. Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
And
but anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to keep rambling there.
We appreciate the time. I know how busy everybody is, man, trying to get, nailing down even an hour in the morning. I mean, mornings are my big, that's my most productive time. But when I reached out to you, I said, hey man, I started a podcast. You got to get on it. And you saw the name. You were like, I knew exactly what that meant. That's the biggest joke in our business, like the butt fixer. Yeah. Like everybody's like, And with me, it started, years ago when I had a blog. I wrote a blog entry and I said, a day in the life of a butt fixer. Like everybody's calling my dog this, my dog, I have a great dog, but this, that, and the other. But we're, we branched off. Like I said, I didn't want it to be, here's how you train a dog, whatever. I wanted it to be about like, what did you overcome? What were the things that like made you like, so we want to hear some butts, man. Like, hey man, Mom, Dad, here's the thing. I want to be a dog trainer. I don't want to go to college. But yeah. So what kind of shit did you run into? Hey man, I want to play hockey. Yeah, but you should go to college or whatever, right? So yeah. So we're all kind of the same. So yeah, I want to hear some butts, man, and then we'll let you go real quick. So,
dude, 100%. All right, so let me think about some butts in this process. Logically, and I praise my mother. She's the greatest mother on the planet, but she was, like, hey, you got to get a degree, right? Like that was a really big butt. Was like, she's like, I just don't see you, I don't see you making a living from this. You gotta think about that. And she's my number one supporter. But at that time, she's looking out for me, and she's saying, hey, these are the things. That was a huge. That was a huge hurdle.
Yeah.
Fuck. You know what I mean? That was a really big hurdle. It was probably, at the beginning is the hardest no matter what. And I remember that first year I made I think it was $12,400. You know what I mean? I was the fucking happiest guy in the world.
Damn, smoking it.
Exactly. My second year,
I did 14,000 my first year.
I did 25 my second year. My third year I did 48,000 or something. And I was like, dude,
that's how it goes.
I'm gonna make it. Yeah, that third year was.
Even the nonprofit's got to be a lot of like, but fuck, but the time, but this, but that, right? Like,
But time, you know what I mean? Like how much time? How much time? But then again, everything comes down to building systems and teams. You know what I mean? You surround yourself with a good team and you have somewhat of a system in place. It does get a lot easier. You know that because you have a system and you execute it. But that's the hardest thing is finding a fucking system and like saying, hey, this is the steps that we're going to take. And we have a really good team of, there's 5 girls on that rescue league team that help out and they do all the work. I'm just there to look good.
Yeah. And you hit the nail on the head. The big word is the execution. It's one thing to think about doing it. It's the other thing that at some point you just got to do it. We're doing it right now. Let's have a podcast. Yeah, but fuck, there's fucking 10,000 million podcasts out there. Yeah, man, but do it. Let's see what happens. Right? Do it. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Hey man, well, thanks a million for doing it. We'll I'm gonna hit you up for like your paragraph of a bio, and we'll pop that on there and share it. Maybe we'll get maybe we'll get to 10 listeners, man, at some point.
You got it. Thank you, boys. I really appreciate it. It was nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit stop here. Stay on the thing for a quick second, man. Okay, we're out here.
Thank you for listening to this edition of the Butt Fixer Podcast. Stay tuned for more guests, more stories, and more butt fixes. Make sure you click, like, subscribe, and follow at all of the places where you stream podcasts.